and prompting many people to adopt alternative energy sources such as solar power, which is becoming increasingly common.
Removal of subsidy has caused lots of economical inflation. For example, we've been around, we bought about 60,000 worth of petrol, and in 2 days it's finished already. So Nigerians, I can say we are adapting. I personally, it comes to a point whereby if you have no choice, you just have to adapt. But it's very difficult.
The federal government, on its part, introduced palliative measures, including cash transfers and transport schemes, among others. However, many citizens argue that these interventions have either been insufficient or poorly implemented. A professor of political science, Bade Ojo, expressed the view that the removal of fuel subsidy was designed to stimulate economic growth through improved infrastructure and enhanced living standards for Nigerians. However, he noted that the policy has yielded limited results with only modest gains in certain areas. It therefore emphasized the need for more effective economic management by the federal government.
Must have been one of the reasons why the finance minister was relieved of his position. Federal government has withdrawn subsidy, right? But despite that, they are accumulating debt, which is uncalled for. Aside from that, for those of us that are federal workers, payment of salaries are delayed every month. Then what is the essence of subsidy withdrawal? And in terms of infrastructure, we can see award of contract. It is one thing to prepare budget that this year you want to spend 10 billion on health sector. But if at the end of the year you could not release 2 billion, then budget is not being implemented. That means economy cannot grow. That means the life of an Afro-Nigerian cannot be better off. So government need better manager for the economy.
Now that the subsidy removal is irreversible, only time will tell whether the policy will ultimately deliver the promised economic transformation or deepen existing challenges. Bemisola Adebayo, BCOS News.
The federal government today unveiled the new digital website of the Federal Character Commission as part of efforts to promote transparency, accountability, and inclusive governance. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, who performed the unveiling in Abuja, described the initiative as a strategic milestone in the Commission's evolution and Nigeria's journey toward equity and good governance. Akume said the FCC, as a constitutional body, remained central to ensuring equitable representation of all segments of the Federation in public institutions. He said the principle of federal character was not only a legal obligation, but also a moral imperative for nation building, unity, and national stability.
The Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, has threatened to begin an indefinite strike on Friday, May 1, 2026, if the federal government does not conclude negotiation with the union. The group also expressed dissatisfaction with what it described as being treated like second-class workers within the university system. Speaking after a congress at the University of Lagos, SANU Unilag chairman Dr. Yusuf Ademola said the union had given the government ample time to address its demands, but had seen no meaningful progress. He criticized the government's proposed 30% salary increase, saying it was imposed without proper consultation. Ademola explained that the union rejected the increase because it did not result from any negotiated agreement and lacked transparency. He added that the move undermined ongoing discussions and ignored the input of non-teaching staff, reinforcing feelings of marginalization.
In the meantime, the federal government today said it is intensifying efforts to bridge the gap for out-of-school children through coordinated reforms and targeted interventions across the country. Dr. Tunji Alausa, the Minister of Education, stated this today at the ongoing 2026 Basic Education in Nigeria Boot Camp Summit, a 3-day event holding in Jos, the Plateau State capital, from April 28 to April 30. The summit is themed enhancing access to inclusive quality education and bridging the gap for Nigeria still faces the challenge of a significant number of out-of-school children and poor quality education, stressing that this reality demands urgent, coordinated and innovative responses from government, development partners, civil society and the private sector. According to the minister, the country continues to grapple with inadequate infrastructure, shortage of qualified teachers, weak foundational literacy and numeracy, limited integration of digital learning, and inequitable resource distribution. Lausa said the Federal Ministry of Education is actively championing reforms aimed at improving quality at the foundational level through curriculum strengthening, teacher professional development, and deployment of digital learning.
A 10.2 kilovolt ampere solar inverter system has been commissioned at the School of Nursing, University College Hospital, Ibadan, to improve electricity supply and enhance effective teaching and learning. The project was facilitated by the Association of Moremi Women of Southern California in collaboration with the School of Nursing UCH Alumni Association. Our reporter, Olamide Olabi, was at the event held at the School of Nursing Auditorium and now reports.
Electricity remains a critical component in the effective functioning of educational institutions, supporting teaching, learning, and access to essential facilities. To address persistent power challenges, the Association of Moremi Women of Southern California, in partnership with the School of Nursing UCH Alumni Association, initiated the solar project as a sustainable solution. Established in 1997, the Association of Moremi Women of Southern California is a non-profit Nigerian-American group committed to promoting Yoruba culture and empowering women through education and community service. Speaking at the event, the Chief Medical Director of UCH, Professor Jesse Otegbayo, described the project as a reflection of the association's commitment to the growth of its alma mater and the advancement of healthcare education in Nigeria. He also urged students to make optimal use of the improved learning environment.
This particular intervention by the alumni is not for the clinical side of the hospital, it's for the students who will translate to health workers tomorrow. So in order to ease their learning environment, to let them have electricity for training, for research, and also for their comfort in their hostel accommodation.
In their separate remarks, the solar project advocate and past president of the Moremi Association, Mrs. Victoria Avigbabu, alongside the current president.
It's actually a legacy project. I am an alumni of this school, and giving back, setting up the fundraising, it's been a pleasure for the school that I love so much. I love this school and I want to see them make progress.
What we think is UCA has been here forever, and who comes to UCA mainly the indigenous people. So how can we help? Because not everybody has the same access to quality healthcare, especially in Nigeria. That's why we are doing access.
Earlier, the principal of the School of Nursing, Dr. Adenike Olaniyi, expressed appreciation for the gesture, noting that the project would have a lasting impact on the institution. Similarly, the president of the School of Nursing UCH Alumni Association, Professor Titi Filani, highlighted the long-standing collaboration between the association and the school, which she said has continued to yield positive results.
It has really been a good thing for us because, of course, as my CMD said, light and electricity has been a big issue for us as a teaching hospital, because we all know what is happening in Nigeria. So having this as part of what is donated to us, it will go a very long way.
We collaborated with the Association of Moremi Women because we realized that the students are going through a lot of challenges which we couldn't handle on our own. And when they brought up the idea of the solar project, we thought we could work together and make a success of the project.
Also speaking, the chairman of the occasion and Jagun Olubadan of Ibadan, Chief Oladiran Alabi, described the project as a commendable initiative that will significantly benefit the school community. Highlights of the event included a fundraising drive for the second phase of the solar project, cultural performance, and the presentation of awards to the associations and distinguished personalities. Olamide Owolabi, BCOS News.
This broadcast of Newscope is coming to you from the Broadcasting Corporation of Oyo State, Ibadan. Political stakeholders in Oyo State have called on the APC-controlled federal government to be wary of their actions and inaction towards opposition in Nigeria. An ex-lawmaker, Honorable Ibrahim Taiwo, and the lawmaker representing Ibadan Northeast constituency, Honorable Abiodun Babalola, said that these were featuring on the BCOS Current Affairs program, Kotohai. Our man, Bodi Akinjola, compiled excerpts from the live program, but this report is presented by Abiyoyi Ayorinde.
The Tuesday live current affairs television program Kutuai Dissect Parties birthed the summit held in Ibadan over the weekend. Honorable Taiwo warned that the opposition should be allowed to breathe and should be independent without interference from the APC-run federal government.
Some people fought for this democracy, for God's sake. Don't forget the Nadeko days. And they discovered that the present government is trying to truncate this democracy with actions and inactions. Such actions like trying to prevent political parties, other opposition parties, to field candidates for the 2027 election. Such actions like planting mold into opposition parties to destroy and disrupt the system in the opposition parties.
In his own reaction, a serving member of the Oyo State House of Assembly, Honorable Abiodun Babalola, opined that the counter-releases from the APC federal government was due to fear of the coming together of different gladiators at the summit.
This was not initial plan. It was when we see the direction that this present government of APC is going. That's why we have to come up with that model, because it's just to force to make sure that there is no multi-party system, and democracy thrive on plurality of the party. So if there is a government of the day, the presidential, and come up with that with systems using judiciary and other arms of the government to be able to force the to relegate the opposition party, then the opposition party rising up and has, okay, don't worry, we are not going to contest on different platforms. Let us unite together, and that's very dangerous for the APC.
On the matter of an opposition consensus candidate for the 2027 presidential election, the duo were unanimous and optimistic in their submission that the decision will work out in the best interest of the opposition and the vast majority of Nigerians.
What you are trying to tell the federal government, especially those supporters of Tinubu administration, that they should not allow this democracy to be truncated by their nuances and their idiosyncrasies. They should allow democracy to thrive.
The ruling APC to foist a one-party state on Nigeria. The gathering also resolved to ensure and sustain the survival of multi-party democracy in the country. The Ibadan Summit also noted that the INEC chairman, Professor Joas Ojo Amquiton, having allegedly shown bias and partisanship in favor of the ruling APC, should not conduct the 2027 general elections, as Nigerians across board have lost confidence in the INEC boss and its capacity to guarantee free, fair, and credible elections.
The President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, has officially declared the Ondo South senatorial seat vacant following a major development involving one of its representatives. The announcement was made today during plenary at the National Assembly. Akpabio told lawmakers that the decision became necessary after the change in status of the lawmaker who previously occupied the seat. According to him, the vacancy followed the appointment of Senator Jimoh Ibrahim as Nigeria's prominent representative to the United Nations. The new diplomatic role effectively ends his time in the Senate. Akpabio stated that The development aligns with constitutional provisions guiding such transitions. He said the Senate had no option but to formally declare the seat vacant to allow the process of replacement to begin. He then called on the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to take immediate steps to fill the...
Babajide Sanwo-Olu was asked to resign on health grounds, describing the allegation as false. In a statement issued, the governor's special advisor on media and publicity, Gbeyega Akoshile, said there was no basis for the claim, insisting that no such directive had been given. Akoshile stated this is another fake news, adding that the governor remains in good health and continues to discharge his official.
The operation was conducted on April 27, a location identified as a major hub for terrorist activities within the mountainous region. The Air Force said the strike followed credible intelligence backed by surveillance missions, which confirmed the presence of active structures and logistic points linked to insurgent movement. NAF spokesman Ahimen Ejodame said air assets were deployed in a coordinated mission that focused on dismantling operational bases used by the group.
The National Emergency Management Agency has received 181 Nigerian returnees from Tripoli, Libya, under the Assisted Voluntary Return Program facilitated by the International Organization for Migration in a partnership with the federal government. The agency disclosed this in a post on its X account today, stating that its Lagos Operations Office received the returnees in collaboration with the National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons. The agency added that the returnees arrived at the cargo terminal of the Murtala Muhammad International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos. According to the agency, upon arrival, officials of the Nigeria Immigration Service carried out biometric registration and documentation to ensure accurate records and facilitate seamless reintegration. It added the reception exercise was successfully conducted in an orderly manner through effective collaboration among relevant stakeholders, ensuring the provision of necessary support services to the returnees.
A major Russian oil refinery on the Black Sea has been hit for the third time this month by Ukrainian drones, causing a massive fire and forcing the evacuation of people living nearby, local officers have said. Earlier strikes in the past 2 months at the Tuapse refinery caused a big oil spill in the sea, and residents reported black rain falling on the city and leaving an oily residue everywhere. The Kremlin accused Ukraine of further increasing the oil shortage in global energy markets and provoking further destabilization. Ukraine's military confirmed the latest drone strike, saying such refineries helped fund Russia's full-scale invasion launched in 2022. More than 160 firefighters were deployed to extinguish the blaze. Krasnodar regional governor Veniamin Kondratev said today no casualties were reported. In a post on social media, Kondratev said firefighters and other rescuers were working in extremely difficult conditions, and he described their efforts as true heroism.
To end this edition of Newscope, here again are the main points. The House of Representatives has approved President Tinubu's request to borrow $516,333,007 in syndicated financing from Deutsche Bank.
The Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, has threatened to begin an indefinite strike on Friday, May 1, 2026, if the federal government does not conclude negotiations with the union.
Political stakeholders in Oyo State have called on the APC-controlled federal government to be wary of their actions and inaction towards opposition in Nigeria.
A major Russian oil refinery on the Black Sea has been hit for the third time this month by Ukrainian drones, causing a massive fire and forcing the evacuation of people living nearby, local officials have said.
And that's all from Newscope Desk for now. It was packaged by Kende Adeyemi and delivered by
Temitope Olubodun
and Josephine Oluwabumi. Thanks for listening. Do not forget to tune in for the Yoruba version at 8 p.m. Good evening.
All across Nigeria, one truth prevails. Football is not just played on the pitch. Arguments fly, tensions shift like defenders on the pitch. And when the ball finally enters the net, that is the 12th player full attack mode. 11 players play on the pitch, but we, the fans, play from anywhere. With Betano, fans don't just watch the match, we influence the game. Register now and join the 12th player. Betano, not for persons under the age of 18. Bet responsibly.
charity ẹni fẹ́ ṣàríyá o gbogbo ẹni fẹ́ ṣàjọ̀dún àbẹ́ni fẹ́ ṣèpàdé o gbogbo ẹni fẹ́ ṣènáwó BCOS event grand òun yẹn máa bọ̀ BCOS event grand òun ló kájọ ẹ̀ fún gbogbo ayẹyẹ èyí tẹ́yìn bá fẹ́ ṣe BCOS event grand òun yẹn máa bọ̀ o. bóyá wá gbé mi débẹ̀ yóò ilé akéde bóyá wá gbé mi débẹ̀ yóò BCOS event grand. BCOS event grand níbi tílẹ̀ ti tẹ́jú àyè ìgbọ́kọ̀sí ń bẹ ìyẹn pọ̀ jaburata BCOS event grand ìyẹn nílé akéde oríta Báṣọ̀run nílùú Ìbàdàn BCOS event grand òun yẹn máa bọ̀ o. ohun tá à ń sọ ni pé fónírúurú ayẹyẹ tẹ́yìn bá fẹ́ ṣe ó ti wù kó fẹjú tó BCOS event grand òun ló kájú ẹ̀ òun ló káàtó ṣókùn àgbà lẹ́yìn fẹ́ ṣe ni tàbí ìgbéyàwó tàbí birthday tàbí open year crusade wọ́n sì jẹ́